Hello, and welcome again to Deviant History. This story takes place during the darkest nights of a cold Russian winter. Christmas Eve was traditionally the time to have one's fortune told. It was also around the same time when villagers slaughtered grown pigs for their upcoming celebrations, holidays, and to feed their families throughout the winter. While it might sound like the two events should not have a connection, this Balichka from the Novgorod region in Russia tells us a very different type of story. This tale is about three young women from a small village who wanted to learn the identities of their future husbands. And dead pigs could tell fortunes on Christmas Eve. That night, the girls left home to take the scary trip to this special wooden building the people erected to keep perishable items fresh during the cold winter. There were no electric freezers or refrigerators available to preserve the meat. The slaughtered pigs were brought into these buildings and hung on metal hooks. One of the girls had said that her father had slaughtered a pig the day before. The situation looked ideal for reading fortunes, even if they were a bit afraid. Anyway, the desire to know their futures helped them to overcome their fear. The building chosen was on one of the family's land, at quite a distance from the house. The night was dark. With no electricity to light the way, the girls had to carry a flashlight. The large wooden door of the building opened with a creak, making the girls jump. After some hesitation, one of them ventured to go in. She saw the dead pig hanging just a few steps away. The girl began to feel foolish. How could the dead pig answer their questions? All of this began looking childish and naive. Still, she chanted the ancient spell and demanded, "Hog, answer. Who will be my husband?" The other two girls felt braver after that and entered and repeated the spell, and also demanded, "Hog, answer. Who will be my husband?" "Hog, answer. Who will be my husband?" For a few moments, nothing actually happened as one might have expected. The girls began to giggle and started to leave. Then, from behind, a very low voice made them tremble. The voice had mentioned only two male names when one of the girls turned around to look at the pig, and of course they had been warned by the older woman not to look back if there was an answer. But the girl's reaction was just an unconscious one. The voice changed into a violent pig squeal. The girls, terrified by now, dropped the flashlight and ran screaming from the building. They couldn't see the path and ran blindly through the snowfield. One of the girls lost her shoe but continued running. The sound of the squeal came closer and closer, and the girls were panicking. They knocked frantically at the door of the first house they saw. This house just happened to be the home of a woman who was known in the village as a witch. Locals did not trust her much, and the girls were not an exception. But now they had no choice. The witch did not even ask for an explanation, but let the girls inside, and she immediately put clay pots over the girls' heads. The pots were large and covered the entire head. The girls could hear the pig behind the door, but could see nothing because of the pots. It was extremely uncomfortable and scary, but not one of the girls risked taking the pot from off her head. Suddenly, something struck the door from outside. The strikes repeated until the latch and the door was broken. The cold air spread throughout the house, and the girls were too scared to scream. The sound of hooves came closer, heading straight for them. The terrifying squeal stunned the girls. It was the dead pig still chasing them. The witch saw that a girl was trying to take off her pot and screamed, "Stop now, if you want to live!" Upon entering the house, the pig became even more furious. It struck and almost cracked one of the pots. The poor girl almost fainted. Then the pig snatched off all the pots from the girls' heads and smashed them by madly throwing the pots to the floor. The girls screwed up their eyes in fear. They could not scream. And abruptly, the squeal ceased. The witch began to complain because the snow was blowing in through the broken door. "Well, my dears, fortunately I had the pots," she said to the girls. "Otherwise you would have died in that moment. The pig was eager to smash your heads, but fortunately could not see well enough to know the difference." The girls were still shaking. They tried to help the witch clean up after the pig, but she pushed them out of the house into the snow while swearing at them. The next day, it became clear that the pig was not hanging in its previous place. It was found on the land owned by one of the other girls' parents. Conflict was inevitable. The pig's owner called his former friend a thief. Of course, nobody believed the girl's story, and the witch refused to interfere. With good luck, the pig did not actually kill the girls, but it was the source of a strong mutual distrust that destroyed the bond between the formerly friendly families. And while 2 of the names were given, the 3 girls did not know who would actually marry whom, and now their families were at odds with one another. Sometimes it is better not trying to ask a dead pig a question, especially on Christmas Eve. That concludes today's tale. Come back again next week for another story in Deviant History. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button. See you next time.
Ooh.